Semi-final of the ESL Open Cup Europe. Two players that have won so many of these cups between them. I mean, it feels like mostly... it's actually a ridiculous number. I'm going to get the stats up here very quickly for the start of this as we do these intros. Because I actually think it's a disgusting amount of cups that these two have won between each other. So on cup number... Listen to this. On cup number 38. So 37 cups have happened. HeroMarine has won 18 of them. And ShoWTimE is in second place for winning... and he's won 6. Now, 6 doesn't sound a lot next to 18, but it's 24 out of 37 cups won. So between the two of these two players, they have won 24 of 37 cups in these ESL weeklies. How about that for a dominant German duo? Today they meet in the semi-finals. In the top right, our blue Terran player from Mouse Sports is HeroMarine. And in the bottom left-hand side, our red Protoss player is ShoWTimE. As we go up into game number 1 of this best of 5. And it is best of 5, of course, here in the ESL Open Cup Weekly. Semi-finals, best of 5, finals, best of 5. Excited to see how this one goes. Probably planning on uploading this one to YouTube as well, unless it's a super bad 3-0 stomp. So if you're watching on YouTube, as always, thanks so much for watching and supporting. And don't forget to hit that like button on the video and to subscribe to the channel for more updates, more videos every single day. Thank you so much for supporting. So yeah, ShoWTimE HeroMarine best of 5. Maybe I'm just going to very quickly update the stream title as well, guys. Sorry, I'm a little bit slow. But a lot of people asking what game's going on and stuff, and I guess that'll continue between games. So I guess it will just help to have it in the stream title. There we go. So Command Center on the natural, Nexus on the natural. Nothing too crazy to begin with. It's just going to be seen our factory is coming up, bunker down on the NAT as well, and just going to see our warp gate on that cybernetics course. Getting the warp gate up and running, Nexus coming through, and the factory and the main base continue to set up as well as our bunker from HeroMarine. Just on the front of the natural, continuing to get this going. And yeah, so far so good, right? Nothing really to talk about. The bunker, a very safe early game thing that we see a lot of the time now to help deal with this initial adept. And I'm mentioning that HeroMarine will probably build that most games unless he really feels like ShoWTimE isn't going to go for it at all. But I don't think he's not going to go for it at any point. I think it's just one of those things you can mix up a lot. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Twilight Council is down, so ShoWTimE is starting to put his own tech into play. And it looks like he'll just open with a pretty regular blink. Reaper actually gets caught by the Adept, so that's an early game scout unit lost from HeroMarine. And the big thing that HeroMarine didn't get here is that he actually just skipped a Hellion. Until, okay, he didn't actually skip the Hellion, it's just not out yet. That's how early the Reaper went down. God, I'm getting kind of a little bit mind-gamed in how early this game is with the Reaper dying. Sorry guys, so he did build the Hellion. I mean, the Hellion's here to try and get a follow-up scout in case the Reaper doesn't scout, so it's going to do just fine in that regard. Coming across the map, it should be able to get across here and actually pick up the information it's looking for, which is what the tech choice is and how this game is setting up in the early stages. Alright, hallucination into the main to obviously give ShoWTimE a bit of info. It is a Raven opening from HeroMarine, and I expect we see this Raven a lot in this series because we really have just entered a state of TVP, which has been very focused around DTs from the Protoss players, as my game decided to lag out there for a moment. DTs from the Protoss players, as well as just like a lot of Colossus openers. The Raven, I mean, the Raven's just so useful. You can use it to harass mineral lines, you can detect the DTs, you can shut down observers, interference manage Colossi. It really powers up your first push of the game. And that's the other thing, right? The game has generally become revolving around what happens around that 7 or 8 minute marker. With that 7 or 8 minute marker being a push from the Terran player, sometimes trying to deny a third base from coming up too early and so on. So the Raven really powers up a lot of what we've seen becoming meta in this matchup from both sides. And so expect to see that in a lot of these games, even if it gets used in very different ways. Some games it may be used as a hit on the mineral lines, like in this game right away. Sometimes it might be used defensively, sometimes it might be used primarily and only for that first big push. So expect a lot of different options here, basically, for HeroMarine as this series goes on, because really, obviously, in a best of 5, you want to start talking about the entirety of how this series is going to look, more so than just the first game and all of that. So Just a few things to keep in mind as this best of 5 plays on out. Moment, this Raven actually just going to go hide up in the corner. Doesn't come through just yet to do anything. Didn't find the opportunity, so we'll just back away. HeroMarine opting for the 3 barracks, by the way. And we saw Clem earlier in this tournament also taking a real kind of preference towards the 3 racks opener instead of the 3cc. The 3cc, I feel, has been a little bit more dominant, especially in career again lately, where it's been pretty passive. You take the 3cc, you don't have any upgrades finishing until after 8 minutes. But yeah, Clem today and HeroMarine 2 feels like maybe it's the flavor of the week to go for this 3 racks. In the best of 5, I'd be surprised if HeroMarine went 3 racks every single time. What's also interesting is that a lot of the Terran players have started to do that engineering bait block that we saw from Björn. And that's not something we've seen Clem do earlier today, and I'm not sure if HeroMarine's going to crank it out either. So a real fun kind of difference in the metas between a lot of players and regions. There's the first push here from HeroMarine coming across. Now, what's really interesting about this is that he never went into siege tank production. So he actually started off with Widow Mine production, and he's stuck on Widow Mine production. So he has a lot of Widow Mines here early, and he is going to go dropping across the map with some mines and some bios. So he's going to go for a different approach. Great observer positioning, though, from ShoWTimE. Tells him exactly what's up, and he starts to relocate his army to the main. And ShoWTimE just playing them 3 gases, meaning that he's only on a lot of, he's only on gate units, basically, and a model or 2 to support. And we'll see when he wants to tech up, probably fairly soon, probably when he shuts down this drop into an extra gas and start movement toward a Templar Archives. Or Robo Bay. Templar Archives was the kind of the go-to at this sort of point of the game with this style for a long time, but maybe not so much now. We have seen the Robo Bay becoming a lot more popular. Drops the double order turret, uses up the Zealot charge on those. And that gives HeroMarine a little bit more time to put out some damage. The Raven going to take some shots the Stalkers are going for, and they will get it. They are rewarded with the kill. Ooh, Widow Mine onto the Sentries. Widow Mine onto the Immortals. Amazing Widow Mine targets. I mean, those are way more valuable units to hit than the Zealots. I mean, it's nice to soften up the Zealots, but there wasn't that many Zealots around, so it's way better to hit those units than like one single Zealot that was just leading the charge into the Bio Ball. And we see 2 more barracks in the way from HeroMarine in the natural expansion, and HeroMarine is out down the bottom side of the map and maybe looking for a bit of pressure here, but the ShoWTimE army is not far off. Opening more Zealots. He hasn't found the chance to tech up yet. He's just now taking his extra gases over on the 3rd base. As he starts up a +1 attack upgrade, we'll keep an eye on exactly where ShoWTimE takes us next. With these extra gases, you should expect to see a tech choice fairly soon. And there is the Templar Archives lining up as expected. So nothing unexpected then. It was the more obvious Templar Archives choice. He played kind of Archons into Storm, and it's a nice little combo. Finally, the Prism showing up. I mean, HeroMarine's been dominant in this game for the last 2 minutes or so. And this Warp Prism will really slow down the momentum on his side of things. It will really stop him from doing just anything he wants to do. I like these delays. Ghost Academy, Armory, both delayed. That shuts down some important stuff that can come up in the game for HeroMarine. 2-2 upgrades, Ghosts. Those are things you obviously want to get without much delay at all. And they're still not resumed as these Zealots taking a long time to be cleaned up. And they're actually fighting the bio units here. And they didn't make half a bad job of it. 14 SCVs went down. This Medevac drop on the main turned around as well. ShoWTimE able to scare that off. Taking a 4th base. With the Zealot damage being done, I actually really like where this is going for our Protoss player. I mean, there's just not that many units here. Okay, a few more reinforcements now showing up. SCVs have to turn to fight once again. Good hold position. Is able to stop these Zealots from getting in on top of the army. Now ShoWTimE hold positions, and then obviously HeroMarine anti-hold positions. A little bit of a micro war between the Zealots and the SCV line. 21 workers killed, though. ShoWTimE obviously gives up a lot of Zealots to do that, but it puts a big dent in the economy of HeroMarine. Now you're only working on 49 FCVs, while ShoWTimE sits on 75 workers. So ShoWTimE sits in an amazing position when it comes down to where he's at with the numbers right now. Gotta love where ShoWTimE is at for the moment in this game number 1. Now HeroMarine's army is still strong. It's about to get stronger with those Ghosts taken to the stage. But ShoWTimE's also powering up. Storm about to be finished. Tech switching to Disruptors well underway with the Colossi, with the Robo Bay about to be finishing up. So we are expecting that to be Disruptors and not Colossi, especially to complement the High Templar, just because the Ghosts are on the way out, so then the Disruptors are really good at zoning those Ghosts away. So expecting that to be the choice, as we do see. Here we go, engagement in. First Storm goes down, it's a good one. Hits the front of that Bio Army. Was mentioning that this Bio Force right now is still pretty powerful in the moment. He's got High Templars in this Warp Prism, makes it hard to hit the EMPs. In fact, there was just no attempt to EMP. His second Storm in this fight was really good. I mean, the first storm in that fight from the left-hand side from the Warp Prism was really good too. Hits another one now, and Marauders walk back through it, eating the storm and dying because of it. Unfortunately, the High Templar didn't pull away. We've got more SCVs going down. I'm not sure what that was, but whatever it was, it's cleaned up now. Not sure if there was maybe just a few of them in this army or something. That or I missed the play around the back. The Warp Prism nearly dies. A little bit of a misplay flying over those Widow Mines, but I think ShoWTimE's just going to crush his way through this. I mean, this army's hurt. It's bruised. It's battered from before. I mean, the medevacs are so heavily drained of energy as well. It's another storm that not just gets units as they run in, but also as they run back out. The Disruptor shows up, gets a ghost on the first Disruptor shot of the game, and ShoWTimE has too much. GG is called, and ShoWTimE takes game 1 of this best of 5, taking a comfortable lead in the series with a pretty strong opener. In terms of the best of 5, just looked great. Start through finish at this game control. Top left-hand side, down a map, is the blue Terran player, looking to see if he can fight back on Death Aura, as he really lost control of that game, I feel like, with the Zealots in the bases, and obviously then he ate a lot of the Storms, and the Storms were really crazy. In the top left-hand side, it's HeroMarine. Bottom right side, our Red Pros player. It is ShoWTimE. He played a good game 1. I mean, up to 8 minutes, it felt like, ooh, you know, HeroMarine's on the map. HeroMarine's looking over here. He's looking over there. And the next thing that happened was them Zealots going to the main base at just after the 8-minute marker. And again, it changed everything. Good defense from ShoWTimE too, right? You know, HeroMarine was really looking for big drops here, there. But ShoWTimE held the map control. He played around his map control. He made use of it and made sure he could defend. And what a first game that was. Cybercore just going to drop down. Any other pylon over the side is going to be seen at Command Center building from HeroMarine in the natural. It's going to be seen at Marine of HeroMarine out down to the left-hand side. So getting that moving, getting that going. Dep just Chrono boosting out from ShoWTimE already as the Nexus on the natural. Again, very standard stuff, nothing to really say. So I'm just going through the bits and pieces right now. Stargate building up. The corner of the main base already. Okay, HeroMarine going to be the one to switch it up a little bit. Obviously, Stargate switches up from ShoWTimE. But HeroMarine too, also going to put the starport out on the right side of the map. So looking for something a little cheeky over here. Something that might not be seen super easily. Starport halfway done. Just going to be seeing that orbital command onto the natural. And what's he going to do with it? I mean, he has to start building Hellions, right? Unless he's just going to go for like a proxied Liberator over on that right side. Looks like he might. Tech Lab on the factory, so quick Liberator on the right. Or Cloak Banshees, right, is the other option, really. Okay. Cloak Banshees could be cool. Yeah, I quite like Cloak Banshees. I mean, especially if he goes Phoenix and only Phoenix on the Stargate, and you go like super fast Cloak Banshees in the main. Very hard to scout. The only thing you'll notice is obviously the starport is missing, so then maybe you start looking for that around the map. If you start looking for that around the map and you find it, then that's brilliant. And the big play here is to get an Oracle up in time for Revelations. You also see the Robo coming up, so it is possible to get the Observer out. The Hallucination actually brings some damage to a few of these SCVs, bringing 3 of them down to the red HP bars. Do that again, those SCVs are going to die, but the Widow Mine is going to be moved. Doesn't want that to be the case. Yeah, ShoWTimE realized there was a starport missing. He's going to find the starport on the right side. He comes back in when this Banshee spawns. That's a free kill. He's going to see the Banshee. ShoWTimE knows it's there, and HeroMarine knows he's in trouble. That's a free kill for ShoWTimE. That's a really nice pickup. Just takes it down immediately. Starport proxy is completely useless. The hallucination is a big play because it tells him there's no starport in the main, so he's already on the map looking for it. And he chooses the right side instead of the left side to scout, and it's perfect play. If he chose the left side, he would still be looking, so what an initial catch that is. And now the starport doesn't know what to do. It's not going back home. He cancelled the second Banshee and Cloak, doesn't build anything else off it just yet. HeroMarine just starts third CC back at home, and I don't think that's a bad idea, just trying to play a bit of a macro opener out of this one. Yeah, I don't mind that at all, right? I mean, you're not really in a position where you've done initial damage to your second and third racks push is going to get a lot done. So instead, just sort of taking the approach where you say, right, let's go into, you know, the third CC, really boost up my economy because I didn't do damage myself, and then just sit back a little bit more. I think that's the better way to approach this, especially against Phoenix. The Phoenix will obviously kill some SCVs over time. 3CC really helps to replace those SCVs and keep the economy going. Alright, well, the Phoenix will continue around. I see a couple of SCVs getting picked off already. 3 workers, 4 workers going down. I mean, this is what the Phoenix are meant to do, of course. As the starport did make its way home, third CC takes its position. Extra barracks on the way again. With this, you don't have the stim pack or anything for quite some time until around 8 minutes, maybe just a little bit after, depending exactly. Yeah, I mean, you see a third Nexus obviously down this left side already. Corona Boost's going away. Look at the work count, 66 to 50. I mean, so 3CC or not, the SCV, the Phoenix gets some damage done. He didn't take any damage early game as ShoWTimE, and they were just sitting happy. Phoenix get back in, 4 or 5 more SCVs, and it's just going to keep HeroMarine trailing there quite a little bit. Zealots will warp in front of that third base, and just seeing the +1 attack charge. All of this continuing through. A Forge down on the main base as well. It's just going to get that set up already. Get that underway. ShoWTimE has the Adept chilling out in the upper right-hand side. And combat shield's about to complete as you see a couple extra units all coming in. Medivacs, Marauders, Marines. Lots of stuff coming up as a couple of SCVs get picked off. Missile turret's going to fire, and we do see the Bio Army of HeroMarine make its way out down the bottom left-hand side. Assault, Colossi, and Sentries all setting up. I don't think you can push down here with 3 Colossi already out. I mean, if the tanks get in range of the Colossi die very quickly, but the Phoenix can aid with that, lifting the tanks a little bit maybe. And right now, the Colossi are just slowing this push big time. And obviously, the more this push gets slowed, the better this is for ShoWTimE. You go charge before blink, so you have Zealots to help with an attack like this. You don't need blink because the Phoenix are giving you the map control and the drop defense. So here we go, coming up the top side. Bio just going to stim on in, Zealot's going to back away. I like it. He's threatening a lot. And by threatening the attack, HeroMarine's never committing, right? Like, he's sieging up again and again. He's trying to use this position, but you know, what's this position close to? It's over a zoomed out screen away from an actual base of ShoWTimE. So yeah, ShoWTimE's held him out over here for such a long time. I love it. Now he gets into a nice spread as well, and you're going to see an Immortal join the fray. He's going to have time for +1 armor to complete. HeroMarine's building no upgrades or anything behind this. Like, for HeroMarine, this is just armies getting larger on both sides, but that, you know, prefers ShoWTimE, who has more tech in play. Here you go. He's going to come in from the two sides. Two of the tanks really far back. Two of the three of the tanks that are in the front just get lifted up, so no damage output from those. Oh, the Zealots, Archons, and Immortals are going to sweep through this army in ShoWTime. It's not even a challenge. Marines are running into an AoE fest, and it is massacres of Marines. Look at all these burned up Marines on the ground. Oof. Not pretty in the slightest. ShoWTime takes it down. 2-0 lead for ShoWTime. How about that? At the start of the top right-hand side. Game number 3 of the series. He's down 0-2. I mean, he's been in this position before and brought it back. It is the big Gabe Weekly after all. And he has some special powers in this event for sure. It is HeroMarine in the upper right side of the map. As in the bottom left, Red Protoss is ShoWTime. Game number 3, up 2-0. ShoWTime's honestly played a good series so far. He's looked really good up until now. I'm pretty happy with how he's been able to play this out so far. Barracks from HeroMarine going to be finishing up as the probe comes in. Nibbles away at this SCV. A little bit of back and forth as our Reaper gets started from HeroMarine already. So getting that Reaper up and running in the early stages. And just going to be seeing our Nexus dropping down on the natural. Going to be seeing a couple of SCVs chasing around this probe. So probe taking a lot of hits already, and just going to be seeing our command center of HeroMarine down into position, not too heavily delayed on the end. Gonna find the probe. And got eliminated pretty quickly. Is just gonna be seeing our factory on the way up. Reactor building after a Marine. And again, ShoWTime not really being too aggressive early in the game, right? Adept moves out onto the map now, but not really. He's actually just looking forward. The Reaper actually comes down the right. Will go straight into the main, so Adept might be able to try and shut off the exit direction. Adept doesn't quite get the damage onto the Reaper there. A little bit unfortunate as we do see our starport setting up in the main base. Twilight Council about to finish in the main as well. Probe facility of ShoWTime building up in the natural expansions. We're just going to be seeing our blink coming through. Really a pretty standard startup for the moment, I think. Not really anything to be too crazy about just yet. ShoWTime not going to waste any time going up to the third Nexus as he takes his blink. HeroMarine has a Banshee on the way and 2 more racks. No cloak. Obviously looks as though he's going to maybe try and punish that super fast third base by going Marine Tank Banshee. Sending this out over that left-hand side. And just going to try and hit this base right here, straight down this left position. Marine Tank Banshee is just a super powerful composition, and I don't see where else this really goes unless you're just building one Banshee for defensive purposes, which is also possible. Second one starts up, so it's not going to be the case. He hides it in the corner as well, so he really doesn't want ShoWTime to figure out that this is just him going balls to the wall, across the map, deal damage, and get the job done, you know? Does not want this to be figured out in the slightest just yet. Forge setting up. You'll see the setup from ShoWTimE really is just all about the later game. I mean, it's very standard from ShoWTimE. But the problem is you need to identify what's happening, otherwise you don't have time to set up shield batteries, etc. A little wrong. HeroMarine is actually going to go down the right side, and I think ShoWTimE is going to be caught completely off guard by this right now. Stalker's moving through, going to come around, and, well, a couple of Marines that can get picked off here. And this is nice. It's only 4 Stalkers out of position, so you're going to shut down a few reinforcements, but then the question still remains, what the hell do you defend with back over on this side? You got a long time till charge is done. It's a super high DPS army. Yeah, these Stalkers are going to turn back around, and I think rightly so. They need to get here to add on a little bit of something to this. There's 2 tanks already sieged. 1 Immortal out, but how does that Immortal get on top of the siege tanks? That feels almost impossible. Well, the gateway goes down. Now the Robo Facility is the next target. All of the shield batteries trying to build on the natural will not get to go up. ShoWTimE may just want to wait until charge, because that might be his best bet unless he feels like that's just going to be too long, and apparently he does. Blinks for the tanks, so he will get the Stalkers to take those down. Now going for the Banshees, the Marines trying to fight this off. He's going to get most of the key units here. Is there enough to keep on fighting the Immortal? Now he gets the reinforcing tank, but it goes down. A new Banshee shows up. The reinforcements from HeroMarine will be good, especially with the bunker now set up, so he has a bit of a a strong point, a bit of a foothold just outside in between these 2 bases to keep on working with. Oh, the tank on siege. The Stalkers take that opportunity to blink in. Will get the kill. Well, that's kind of an ideal moment. That tank should have been able to kill 3 of those Stalkers the moment they walked into range, because they were such low HP, but instead, when Siege is at a bad time and ShoWTimE's able to capitalize, at least get something done, picks off 1 more SCV. Still struggling, but he's about to have charge. Can charge help at all? I just don't think he's got the Zealots to make charge work, and that's the issue, right? I think if he has like 8 Zealots or so right now, this is a very different fight, but with no Zealots at all, I want to say it's almost impossible. The Nexus on the 3rd taking a lot of damage. The Stalkers here trying to fight, but the tank is doing so much. The ones on the bottom side are not really achieving anything. 20 to 41 army supply. ShoWTimE still in desperation mode, about to get an armor upgrade, but again, how much does that really change? It doesn't really protect you against these tanks or the Banshees all that much. Like, it helps, but not that much. Extra Zealots warping in. Here we go. Apparently, this is going to be the time. He needs to get rid of the siege tanks. He comes in. SCV's repairing one of them. In fact, both of them are going to survive, and it's going to be a good push from HeroMarine. ShoWTimE did not find this out in time, and because of it, is going to lose the game. And HeroMarine, welcome back. Just a minute or so in. Sorry, I had to go get myself a glass of water and have a drink. So just joining this one a few seconds late. On the bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran player is Mouse Sports HeroMarine. On the top right side, our red Protoss player is ShoWTimE. Alright, so get this set up, get this underway. I mean, obviously a command center from HeroMarine already getting going. And, yeah, just going to be not really much a gain first 2 minutes. No proxies, slight block on the CC, so you'll have to relocate that. But that's pretty much it for the moment. Yeah, I like the build from HeroMarine. Just says all-out aggression for game number 3. It makes a lot of sense, right? I mean, trying to go into the later games wasn't working very well, so I like it. So a little bit of building up here. Bunker at the front defensively. Some Hellions on the way. We've not seen a lot of Hellions from HeroMarine in this series. I like that as a way to change it up, of course. That can do rather well, I think. Do you see the Stalker putting some damage out into this Reaper, pushing it around the bottom right side of the base, and Stalker is going to get that kill. So yeah, Reaper again killed pretty early on. I mean, he actually got in and got a lot of information this time, though, unlike the previous time where that Reaper died early. Now our two Hellions going to show up, and, well, there's a wall off here. They shouldn't be able to do much in theory. Adept and a Stalker defensively should be alright. He sees it. He's got the block with the Stalker. The Hellions kind of dub out there for a moment. The Hellions get away alive, at least just about. So, it's okay for the moment. Blink is about halfway done here from ShoWTimE. There's a couple of extra gates. Continue to build the pylon from ShoWTimE in the bottom right of the natural, and just going to be seeing our warp gates morphing in as well. So our warp gates morphing in, a couple of extra units being added on. Just going to see the Stalker continue to push the Hellion away up through the top side. So Hellion gets pushed away through the top, and just going to be seeing our other Hellion on the left, just hanging out on that watchtower for a little while. By the way, pretty sick. This series started after Need Blind, quite a bit after Need Blind, like 10-ish minutes after Need Blind. We're already into game 4 here. Meanwhile, Neeb and Bly are still in game number 2. That series is going on quite some time. It's a long one. It's turned into an epic. Not quite what you expect. So yes, just an update there. That's happening on Roddy's stream if you want to check it out. Hey, ShoWTimE. He's got 4 gateways, so he's going to go pretty aggressive here on Eternal Empire. I like it as a bit of a mix-up. There is already a Siege Tank out. There's only 2 Hellions from HeroMarine, so not that many. I don't mind this, but the tank is setting up in the main, so he's going to have to get rid of that pretty quickly. Loses 1 Stalker. Auto turret harbor now. He also gets the bunker. Can he get the Raven? Probably not. He has to get out of this base soon. Obviously getting a good few SCVs with this. Alright, 5 workers, tank, and the bunker cancel on the high ground. I mean, now the question is, where do you defend next as HeroMarine? Blink straight in. The only problem here was that the low health Stalkers were at the front. Otherwise, this could have been a little bit better. He gets that auto turret in 1 shot. Good warp prism micro as well. And HeroMarine is struggling a little bit. Now ShoWTimE, Robo Bay, and the late Nexus behind this. So remember, those are sacrifices he makes. He doesn't tech quickly behind this. He doesn't expand quickly behind this. It takes him a little while to set up. Stalkers blink in. Tank goes down immediately. Warp prism still here to help some of these Stalkers as we see our Orbital Command is pushed back to the main. I mean, that's huge. A responsible decision, arguably, from HeroMarine, but an expensive one to not mind from the natural at all. It's only for a few moments, but when you float over here, you float back. It's a good 20-30 seconds where there's just 0 mining on the natural. And ShoWTimE just taking advantage throughout this entire period of time, basically. Up, charge on the way from ShoWTimE is the next step, obviously, from the Twilight Council. That makes a lot of sense. He's going to go for the Colossus as well. Obviously, we expect that off the Robo Bay. This is not the sort of play you go into Disruptors from. You need something sturdy and strong behind this Stalker army, which is going to be the Colossi. Good old reliable, you know, right? Where the Disruptors might miss a shot or two, the Colossi obviously do just guaranteed damage. So we'll nip into that nice strong army back at home, and I really do like what ShoWTimE's achieved with this. If you look at the income graph, you can see where he's been able to take an advantage. You know, overall, he's coming out of this with a 3rd base now starting in mind, so he's where he wants to be with that in regard. Now Warp Prism getting away through the bottom side as our External Thermal Lance continues ticking along here. Now HeroMarine has a 3rd CC, so he's able to get that in position. And that's why he's been able to stay competitive in the SCV count. He's been pretty good at continuing to build that throughout. That +1 attack upgrade comes in on the Forge. Extended Thermal Lance is going to come up to completion soon. Charge about to complete. As the Temple Archives now dropping down as well. So Temple Archives being brought into play. Combat Shield will be finishing as we see the Prism of ShoWTimE heading down the bottom right. Just going to be seeing the Probe Hanging around up at the top here. Stalkers on the left-hand side, holding that watchtower. I mean, the thing is, HeroMarine is obviously not able to take any map control, and so ShoWTimE is really taking advantage of that. Just plops the 4th base down, doesn't really worry about it in the slightest, just takes that down just straight away. And now you got a bit of a larger bioforce, you start thinking about moving out, but look how late those engineering bays are, so upgrades from ShoWTimE going to be leading for quite a while in this game. We'll see how quick he is to continue through, but I think it's going to be almost immediate because... oh, there is +2, but he also had another forge on the way, so it really seemed like he was wanting to continue to invest into upgrades. He's going to have a good upgrade lead this game, ShoWTimE. That's something that HeroMarine has to play around a little bit, almost. Marine stem forward and the hallucination gets chased away through the bottom side. Yeah, isn't going to be able to get anywhere as bunkered around the back. Marine's going to be able to get that hallucination and still seeing ShoWTimE. Over on the far left-hand side, going to have another Archon or two to join up into it, and again, everything gets together there as our Dark Shrine in the main base is producing another Robo facility and a Disruptor production. All being built, and a couple of Vikings just going to be rallying out. I don't mind it from here, Marine. You know, slow approach, take a 4th base. I don't think he was ever in a position to get on the map and really force a fight at all this game. I do think the Stalkers early were pretty darn successful in what they, went out to achieve. And so it does feel as though HeroMarine's being pretty pinned back, and he's played around that well, just taking the 4th base, just playing the slower game and accepting that. Probably one of the best things you can do is now, though, a maxed out ShoWTimE is going to be hunting for a fight. Defensively, don't see why HeroMarine should be in any trouble, right? 7 tanks in play. Running into those in a lot of these defensive positions should not be easy. The only position that might be easily attacked is this 4th base, right? It's a bit more open, left and right sides available, a bit more space. Compared to if you try and fight this 3rd, you're basically running up this ramp or from this right side into this choke point here. ShoWTimE doesn't even try to contest it. He just goes up to base number 5, gets his Disruptor count continuing to rise. And he is ready to play just a very late game scenario. A few Zealots did okay. They actually picked off 6 SCVs, so they do just fine. But ShoWTimE is really just playing for the late game. Shadow Stride as well. I mean, you get up to that Zealot DT kind of blink run-by phase. And holding economy and bases at that point as the Terran player becomes so difficult. You need to commit so many units to be able to defend those DTs and Zealot run-bys. That's when ShoWTimE's main army can start to find a lot more openings, because then you're really dictating where the Terran army can be, or how much of the Terran army can be out on the map at any point in time. And that's where you can really get stuff done. And I mean, if you don't respond properly as the Terran, then you're going to lose a lot of workers, and that becomes really tough. So I think that's what ShoWTimE is just playing for. Like, yeah, he wants to defend this position. He doesn't want the tanks to siege up on top of his base, but he's not eager to take a larger fight and push into a fight just yet, because he knows what he can do given a bit of time here and the units that he's getting set up to utilize. I know the Disruptor's just pushing this back for a little while. Gets the Raven. Good catch with the Raven. He actually brings the anti-armor missile back onto the rest of his army. Double Disruptor gets double tanked. They were split apart as well. Good positioning, good aim from ShoWTimE. Beautifully aimed at. There's now a few DTs already going to run into this natural. Now, this is before blink, so you can't just blink onto that turret, and that's a derp from ShoWTimE. He just right-clicked in there. He was not paying attention to those. Meanwhile, he is dealing with this, so that is probably why. He'll go down here instead, and there is no missile turret on the 4th base, so he will start to kill SCVs. HeroMarine might be starting to get this 5th base, but it's coming at a huge SCV cost. Nope, scan was good. The SCV pull was good. It was actually well handled. Okay, good job HeroMarine. Making this a little bit more costly than to truly lose out on this base. DTs are now going to blink on top of the army, though. They're going to get multiple siege tanks before they get taken down. It's a lot of DTs. It's an expensive trade-out. Super Battery is activated. The first few Archons just melt here. Endless EMPs, but there's still an army behind the EMPs, and we're just going to keep pushing through. At the moment, ShoWTimE gets the cleanup, but he drops heavily in supply. He arguably is the player with the bank to rebuild more easily, but he's going to have to. He needed to be, because that was a fight and a half from HeroMarine, and now HeroMarine might think about going to this top base. See what ShoWTimE has to do. He's got to decide where he's going to push out from. That was a good disruptor shot. This one's good as well, especially picking up on a ghost. Get those ghosts before they get EMPs back over. That's going to make the follow-up more difficult as ShoWTimE chases this away, and HeroMarine now lacking on supply. And maybe HeroMarine just sticking around a little bit too long when he could have backed away, rebuilt up, and maybe come again with a stronger army, a new wave of EMPs, and just a few more tech units in play. It's so hard to judge when you can maybe keep on pushing versus when you need to back off and take a moment. I don't even know if he needed to back off, but the fights he took were bad, right? Now, that was the biggest issue. The disruptor shot was huge. The one that hit the siege tanks and the big clump of units around it. And that was the big part. Like, there's so many disruptors that even if he felt like he maybe could fight, the disruptors were always going to force so much of the army away. DT's just going to blink in. That is a dead base. That is 13 dead SCVs. Why not make it 30? Oh my god, it actually does go to 30 dead SCVs. That disruptor could have been every single ghost in the army. And ShoWTimE just denies a base. This fifth on the bottom side from HeroMarine is up. But it's not really mining yet. It's in position, but that's about it. It's not even set up into an orbital or anything, or planetary. It is going to go for an orbital. I think ShoWTimE knows where he is at. He's going to send the disruptors forward, and they are putting in work. And these disruptors have actually been super, super good this game. They've been hitting some mega shots. GG from HeroMarine as he trails on out in numbers. ShoWTimE is going to shut this down. And this is going to be an ESL Open Cup Europe final without a Terran player for the first time in 8 editions. The last time this happened was ShoWTimE against Mana in the PvP. In fact, pretty much the only time there was ever a non-Terran player or no Terran player in the finals of an ESL Open Cup. It was ShoWTimE was involved, apart from, I mean, since number 12. Basically, that was the last non-Terran finals that didn't include ShoWTimE. Crazy stuff. I love the stats of these ESL Open Cups. They're a lot of fun to follow. They're a lot of fun to kind of read about. There's some fun stuff that happens. GG's here. ShoWTimE takes it down 3-1 over HeroMarine, advancing through to the finals of ESL Open Cup Europe 38. A fun set of games, some different styles, but ShoWTimE overall pretty dominant today.